The SN95 Mustang Cobra doesn't get a lot of love nowadays, mostly due to a certain younger brother, the Terminator Cobra, with its notorious supercharged V8. However, there was one SN95 Cobra that still gets some love but wasn't made in high production, and that was the Mystic Cobra. In fact, the very first version of Mystic was codenamed Clown internally at Ford. And back in the day, you did have to go through a bunch of hoops to get this paint because of the toner. The flip-flop in the paint is also what they used in the $20 bill. This Mystic Cobra was actually rescued after hitting a deer and then bringing it back to life. This has a built motor with 5 liters of displacement and a Vortex supercharger, making over 600 wheel horsepower. So, what's it like driving a supercharged 5-liter, fully built motor Mystic Cobra? Let's go for a drive and find out. Hello and welcome to a Mystic Cobra. The Mystic Cobra, there was only supposed to be 2,000 of them, and there ended up only being 1999 of them because one guy accidentally painted the last one black. Now, Mystic very much gets overshadowed by the Mystichrome Terminator Cobra, but the Mystic and Mystichrome both had a really fun fact about the paint color. You had to get the government's permission to paint this color. Why would you need the government's permission to paint a color? Well, it's because it used the same toners as the US dollar bill to prevent counterfeiting. But the first gen Cobra is very much, like I said, in general, overlooked from the 03-04 Terminator Cobra. And I've actually driven one of these naturally aspirated with the built motor before it was supercharged, but this is a lot different. It's not like the 2-valve Crown Vic engine you'd find in the normal Mustang GT. I say Crown Vic engine, but they were extremely similar. So it kind of made the Mustang GT kind of a dog that sounded good. This 5-liter has a forged bottom end with mainly internals. It's also bored and stroked, so this is a stroker engine. So that's why you get the glorious sound out of this thing, and also the lope and the chop. It sounds incredible. I'd also like to add the fun fact that this is essentially an R&D session because I am the first person to drive this out of the shop from this morning. ThatDudeinBlue, the test driver. It's going well. It's going well. Knock on all the trees outside. And downshift. The word I can describe this Mustang is satisfying. So satisfying, dude. This also has Cook's long tube headers, a Cook's X pipe, which makes this thing absolutely scream, and a Magnaflow exhaust all the way to the back. We also have the stock T45 transmission. Is it as good as the T56? No. But is it doing the job right now? Yes. The owner of this car, Isaac, has had this car since 2009. They hit a deer, had it repainted, and they fixed the entire thing. And this also has a Vortex V2 SI supercharger. Now, it's not a turbocharger, it is a centrifugal supercharger. So, essentially, like I always say, think belt-driven turbocharger. But it's running around 12 to 15 pounds of boost, which puts this car right around 620 wheel horsepower, which makes it the fastest SN95 first-gen car I have ever driven. This also has full B&R tubular suspension, so it turns in very well, especially with the help of the Toyo R888 tires. The R888 tire is such a phenomenal tire that a lot of big boy horsepower guys like twin turbo Lambos and R35 GTRs, they will use the Toyo 888 when they're not on something like a beadlock, which, by the way, he also has a set of beadlocks that are match Mystic on the outside rim, which is super cool. And I think this color really suits this car. the curvy body lines of the first gen SN95, some people really don't like them. They prefer the new edge Mustang of later, like the Terminator Cobra. But with the Mystic color, with the turquoise and the purples and the coppers when it's in the sun, I also love the hood of these things. I love the dual scoops. I love the massive intake manifold under the hood with the big Cobra on it. The car with the beautiful color that, when it's in the shade or at night, has very much a midnight purple 3, like the Nissan Skyline. It's this very pretty dark purple, but when you get it in the sun, it's an absolute stunner. The other thing about the interior of these Cobras is that they had jet black interiors. Later, for the new edge, they would lean more towards like a gray or like a gunmetal gray for the dashboard and the seats and everything else. This was jet black inside, and the leather is held up fairly well for how old the car is. We're also running on an SET right here, giving me all the AFRs and everything I need. We're running at a smooth 180 degrees, so it's cooling itself just fine. Woo! Yeah, buddy! Alright, yeah, second and third are the magic gears in this thing. One thing I would like to add about these older Vortex systems for the old Mustangs is that some of them weren't even intercooled, which really blows my mind. But this one is one of the intercooled ones. But it's really neat to see that this car with this technology is still able to make 600 plus wheel horsepower. This thing is no slouch. That is nothing to blink an eye at, man. Love the subtle sounds of the Vortex blower as I engine brake down this mountain. But seeing the evolution of the Mustang all the way up to the 5-liter Coyote has been fascinating. But these Cobras, man, even if it's just the normal one, it's a really fun bang for your buck car to drive around. They sound good, they look pretty decent, especially if you do a little bit of aero on them. But this thing is probably the best handling first gen SN95 Mustang I've ever driven. It's got the right tire. It's also got Eibach front and rear sway bars to add some more rigidity. I feel a lot more confident in this thing than I do in some of the other ones. Whoa. That's just a third gear goof off. Yo. Okay. I see you. Oh yeah. Like exiting a corner and it's actually doing it? Woo! Muscle car sound of old combined with just a smidge of modular and modern. It's got a deep, throaty, hollow growl like a Terminator Cobra, but it's a 5-liter. It's really interesting how it's a 5-liter and not the 4.6. And I'm usually not one of those people to be like, this car is a one of so-and-so. Well, this time around I kind of am because of the historical story that one guy accidentally painted it black. Another thing I like to add is that he has the right gearing in this thing. He has a 373 rear end, which is phenomenal for Mustangs, especially with this wheel and tire setup. The gearing feels great. It's not too long. That's a big thing with these older Mustangs. They just feel like they just go on a little too long when you're getting into the power. Just like, oh my God, can we just get to the red line? This still has the thrill of reeling it out and getting into it. A good analogy is a more modern car. The 1314 GT500 has 662 horsepower, but the gearing was abysmally long because the first gear went to 60 miles an hour. So you couldn't like have your fun. That's what I like about this, is that I can still reel through the gears and change gears and have my fun and feel the boost. Oh yeah, the wheels. TSW wheels. I don't think I have driven on TSWs since my Porsche 944 review like 11 years ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever I drive an SN95 Mustang, I very much feel like it's going to be a been there, done that scenario. Because the new Edge Mustang GT drives nearly identical to these. Now I see the light. I definitely see the light of this thing. Okay, it's got a McLeod RST clutch as well, very easy to drive. Like, I don't even need to go to the top of the RPM to really enjoy myself. I'm having a wonderful time even just rowing through the gears, right? Oh! Definitely one of the more theatrical Mustangs I have driven, for sure. To get a, you know, out of the box, the Terminator is an amazing package, right? It still sounds amazing with that twin screw blower, the Eaton supercharger, and you pour them and you make 500 wheel and you're done. But if you have the patience with this 5 liter and you build it and you make it a stroker engine, I get the appeal now. Oh, I could listen to that all day, dude. What an interesting combination. Cook's lawn tubes, Cook's X-pipe to a Magnaflow back, and it just works. There's always been the big debate of which SN95 generation Mustang looks the best. You know what? Fight it down in the comment section below. Yep, right at 4,000. Right at 4,000, it starts ripping your face off. Under that, completely manageable around corners. Woo! Fun question for you. Are you ever into people being like, oh yeah, it's a one of this many when it comes to the color and everything else? Put it down in the comment section below. And on that note, I typically upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Another thing I'd like to add is that I just launched a website called Project Car Exchange so that people trying to get into this scene, it's a little bit easier to find something they like and is affordable to get into car culture and try out something new. And I'll talk to you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a great day. Goodbye.